Qianzhousaurus. Its popularity continues to rise thanks to the nickname Pinocchio Rex. This name is inspired by this Asian tyrannosaur's long and thin snout.
Hello everyone and welcome to my analysis of and reaction to the newest species field guide for Jurassic World Evolution 2. Forgive me, but I'm gonna try the Qianzhousaurus. I did a poll yesterday on my Twitter asking people, what do you think? Are they gonna go with another flying reptile? Are we gonna get a marine reptile? Or are we going to get a new species of land dinosaur? Now let me actually check the results of that poll. Most people predicted that we would get a flying reptile, and marine reptile and new land dinosaur were basically tied. But yeah, they gave us a new land dinosaur. So what's interesting to note here, what we can take from that, is that they are still following the pattern of new dinosaur, old dinosaur, new dinosaur, old dinosaur, so on and so forth. And of course, new flying reptile, old flying reptile. So that's the pattern that they're sticking to so far. They haven't continued with the flying reptiles. Possibly that could also mean that we're not going to get any more of the flying reptiles. Otherwise, why shouldn't they have done a new species of flying reptile? I guess that's sort of my my thoughts on that. But let's look at this species field guide in terms of, actually, I want to start with the backdrop. Let's start with the backdrop for once, because there's not a lot to say. That fence in the background looks pretty good. I don't think we've seen that particular fence before. This is the red bottom Louboutin fence, as I'm gonna call it. We have a lot of electricity cables going on. We'll look at the dinosaurs soon. Hold on. The only thing that I find particularly interesting in the background is this shot over here. We have the aviary in the background, and it doesn't look like it's the glazed aviary. It looks just like what we saw in the, I think it was the first Dev Diary. We saw an aviary in the desert, which just has that grate around it. So instead of the glass domed aviaries that we've seen in other materials for Jurassic World Evolution 2, it just had a grate similar to what we have in the current game. And it seems to me like that's the same thing that's going on right here in the backdrop. And probably, that means that we get two different styles of aviary. We get a glazed aviary and we get a graded aviary. I don't think that's the right word, but you get what I'm saying. So that's really the only thing I wanted to point out in the backdrop. Although I guess one of the things we could note over here is that the hill over here, it looks pretty steep, so that's some reason to be hopeful. In terms of the background, there's not a lot going on, so let's just look at the dinosaur itself. Qianzhousaurus. I think she pronounces it a little bit differently. I think she says more like Qianzhousaurus. Qianzhou. I think she says something like that. I'm really blown away, honestly. It's such a cool looking Tyrannosaurid. Apparently it's called Pinocchio Rex. I think that's absolutely adorable. Also, look at that face right here. That is the face of a happy dinosaur. It makes me very happy to see. Yeah, it's a really cool and unique species. I haven't heard of it. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean much, but I hadn't heard of this species at all, so I really like that they went with something different. It'll be interesting to check, and I'll do that at the end of the video. It'll be interesting to check if this was one of the species on that quote-unquote leaked species list, because if this species is on that leaked list, then I'd give it a little bit more credit, but we'll look at that at the end of the video. First, I just want to address the model. I mean, I can't judge whether it's paleo accurate or not. Like I said, I'm not familiar with this species of dinosaur, but I do want to just point out that the model looks great. It looks really different with the type of spikes that it has along the back and the really extra eyebrows. I really love it. It has sort of a dragon-esque quality that I'm quite infatuated with. I think it's really cool. Mostly, though, what I find really interesting, and you know me, I find the skins really interesting. We see one. These are both the same. Let me check. I think the one on the left right now is similar, but slightly different, so that's 2. Obviously, the one on the right is very different, so that's 3. And these are the same as those, I think. Yeah. And we have this one, also different skin. So yeah, 4 skins. That's pretty good. And also the patterning of this skin is more interesting than we've seen before. Before we saw just a single amber or gold stripe along the sides. It's getting a little bit more complicated now, also in terms of the number of colors. I mean, look at this, like this light golden brown underside, the dark brown body with sort of like an olive tone to it, and then we have this flaming pattern along the back with orange. There's some red in there, there's some like petrol green in there. So I'm very excited about this skin system, because one of the things I was concerned about was that the patterns might be a little bit oversimplified to accommodate that skin system, but this looks so epic. This looks really great. This gets me super, super excited. And just look, like it's rimmed with a darker color on this side. My god, I will be playing around with that so much. It looks so good. Really, I mean, look at that. It's such a cool dinosaur. It is such a cool dinosaur. I really love that about this game. Really, in the first game, there weren't that many dinosaurs that I was unfamiliar with. So I really hope to see, you know, with over 75 species, that my knowledge of dinosaurs is going to be branching out. I think that's really cool about this game. You know, we get to learn about dinosaurs that aren't as popular as the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and it looks great. I'm in love with those eyebrows. Let's check out the forum article for it, see if there's some information in there. Oh, it has a different picture. Hold on, let me show you. It has a different picture. Look at that. Look at that skin. Oh my god, it's gorgeous. Look at how it's sitting. Oh, that's so different. It's not with both legs on one side. It's like crouched down. That is so cool. Oh, I'm loving this. You can really tell how narrow the snout is here as well. Very, very lovely. This is a very exciting species field guide. I'm very excited about this. This is all just about the species itself. I'm not going to go into that just because it's not relevant for the gameplay. That's what we're here for. But like I said, I do think it's really cool that this is a way to learn information about quote-unquote new dinosaurs. That's really cool. Carnivore, like its cousin the T-Rex, albeit with a slightly weaker jaw and bite. A keen hunter, they prefer to chase live prey, so I'm assuming that means they will prefer the goat feeder, but they will also eat meat from the standard carnivore feeder if they're hungry. I wonder if this is just like a little bit of backstory, a little bit of intrigue, or if it's actually going to impact your gameplay. Is it going to have a lower rating when it has to eat from a regular meat feeder as opposed to being able to hunt? Is it going to affect its health? Is it going to affect its behavior? Like, is it going to get more lazy if it doesn't get to hunt? That sort of stuff. I really hope that's going to be the case. That's not just a matter of some eager copywriter writing this down thinking, yeah, that's a cool, like, origin backstory to write in. It's a social dinosaur. This dinosaur prefers staying with their own kind only, with a small social group as a bare minimum. So it can have quite a big group that is hinted at. And it's interesting to note that they prefer staying with only their own kind. Make sure they don't get lonely. They won't, however, get along with other carnivores, so it might be a good idea to keep them in their own enclosure or have enough space for other species to stay outside their territory so a fight doesn't break out. So these are little fighter boys. As long as they're happy within their own area with plenty of water surrounding them, they shouldn't give you too much trouble. So they apparently like sort of a more wetland style exhibit. Obviously this is desert, but there is a lot of water in there. I wonder what the point of that is. In terms of other information, it looks like there's not that much. Let's see if there is a no comment from Jens Erik clarifying anything yet. In terms of behaviors or anything, there's not too much interesting stuff going on. They have a little sniff, which reminds me of the Albertosaurus animation. It seems like the other one is following him in the sniffing animation. I wonder if that maybe is a hint at a more complicated hunting mechanic. Maybe they're hunting together here and they leave together. Oh, that'd be so cool if they actively hunt together like that and they actually sniff the ground to track down their prey. Oh my god, that'd be awesome. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I do want to note over here is that same as with the Amargasaurus, we see the exact same dinosaurs hatch from the hatchery at once, right? So the exact same skins. When you make a clutch, you determine a skin color for that entire clutch. I guess that's what that means. So you can't have skin variations within the clutch. If you make a clutch, they're all gonna have the same genetic basis, and some might vary a little bit more towards more aggressive or more vulnerable to sickness and stuff like that. But I think a clutch is always going to have the same skin. Alright, so it took me a really long time scrolling through Reddit to find this. But this is the leaked species list, right? So let's see if the Qianzhousaurus... Oh my god, I'm butchering that, aren't I? I'm so sorry. Let's see if that's on this list. My god, that's tiny. Alright, so... I think this is all returning dinosaurs, so let's scroll down here. Let's see, it's organized alphabetically. Yes, it is. And it's not on this list, okay? So I think we can hereby denounce this leak as legitimate. Because, for example, right, like the Dimorphodon, super easy prediction. Was it even on here? Yeah, Dimorphodon. But like Dimorphodon is a super obvious pick because it was in the movies. We already knew we were going to get more than one flying reptile. So that's an easy prediction. Amargasaurus, I think this list leaked after the Amargasaurus, but still, Amargasaurus, even I knew Amargasaurus before it came into this game, right? But the Qianzhousaurus is not on this list, and it's a very specific and relatively unknown dinosaur species. So if this list had guessed it, if they had predicted its inclusion, I would have given more credibility to this list. The fact that they missed it, I feel that pretty much rules out the credibility of this entire thing. So once more, we can just chuck this into the trash. It is, yeah, it is useless. So I just spent a lot of time scrolling through Reddit for absolutely no reason at all, but you know, you're welcome. I do my due diligence. If it had included the Qianzhousaurus, it still wouldn't have proved anything. You know, it could have been a very, very, very lucky guess. But the fact that it's not on there, they missed it entirely. I think we can just rule that out. I felt that was important to point out. I'm gonna leave it at this, but I'm really curious for you guys to comment down below what you think of this species reveal. What do you think of the dinosaur, of the skins, of the species field guide in and of itself, in terms of what you're getting out of it? I'd really love to hear your thoughts on that. I'm sorry for a bit of a very unscripted video, but as you know, I'm dealing with a sick pet right now, so I'm just doing videos the only way I can mentally handle right now, and that's just off the cuff like this. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you do enjoy this kind of content, this kind of coverage of the game, and you don't want to miss out on anything Jurassic World Evolution 2 related, please give the video a like. That helps me out so much, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on anything. Alright, thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and until next time, enjoy the anticipation.